What up, everybody? All right, so I'm at work. My parents are visiting, and so I am trying to do a quick video on my lunch while I'm at work. So here's a little tour of my office, I guess, or a little background. Um, but I kind of wanted to make this week a little bit interesting. I wanted to not just go over matchups and then see what's coming forward. So I'm doing some bold predictions. And I don't think I'm not 100% confident, but it's something that definitely could happen. Um, and I'm gonna tell you why, and we'll go over that a little bit. I'll try to share my screen. There's some things I can't share just because computer, work computer, don't want to. So I'll get out my phone and I'll go over some matchups and like I'm gonna go over some matchups just to kind of explain my point, but um, I guess we're going to do a little bit of a quick recap. So this last week, I beat Luke. Still got some hope for the playoffs. Kind of a loss because I lost Cooper Cup to some injuries, and he's not been doing good. And Jamar Chase. So hopefully I can find some better pickups. But um, yeah, so we have. I beat Luke. I don't know what Luke was thinking. Luke, what are you doing? What are you doing starting two tight ends? This is not a dynasty. You should not be throwing the season. It looked like you're throwing the season with two tight ends starting in your lineup. What are you doing? I don't get that. That's the only shade I'm going to throw you. Definitely questionable call. Something I wouldn't expect you to do. And Mr. Ugly Win got himself a really legit win. Scored some good amount of points. Beat Whitney. Whitney was on a hot streak, and he beat Whitney. So good job, Dre. And then we've got other Dre, Mr. Organic, killing it. Got over 6 wins, so congratulations. You scored a lot of points. I think I was looking at the versus all yesterday, and you've got the hottest team, you and Nate. And so we'll go over Nate's team a little bit more. Um, let's see who lost. Austin with a loss. That one was yep. Austin lost one, so that's tough for him. Eric got absolutely pummeled and the worst score for the week. I've been there. I get it. That sucks, but good to see Eddie get a win. This next week we've got Eddie versus Luke, and that'll be kind of a determination of who's really out of the playoffs. I mean, it's a slim chance for either of them to make the playoffs, but completely, whoever loses that one, you're completely out. So, and then we could yeah, we could pretty much, I mean, it's not like a guaranteed, but we could pretty much see who might be locking in a. So let's say there's 4 teams that are 7-4. So if any of them win, so we've got Nate, Austin, or Mr. Organic and Whitney. If any one of them win, and you guys are now 8-4, um, and then if I lose, then you're pretty much locking yourself in the playoffs, but there's no guarantee. Um, yeah, actually, there would be. So if they win, I'm at 7, they're at 8 wins. Yeah, that would, if I lose and any one of you guys win, you're locking yourself into the playoffs. So we'll see. And another interesting thing that could happen, we could have top 6 teams be 7-5 after this week. A low possibility, but it could happen. So that's something interesting and something to monitor. Here, I'll share my screen. I just took a snippet. Like I said, I don't want to share too much on my screen. Um, but we've got, let's see here. We've got Nate taking over number 1 spot, Austin falling 1 spot, but still in projection to have that number 1 seed. Dre has the hottest team right now with 4-win streak. I've got 3-win streak, and poor Luke 7 losses in a row. Um, Couple tough weeks for Luke, I think for sure. He could easily be 5-5. No, 6-5. So and he could be in the playoff race still with this very minuscule loss to Austin and then losing to me, but definitely could have switched some things up and got the win. But anyway, let's get into it. Bold prediction. Bold prediction number one. I think Eric is going to miss the playoffs. Eric, you said that Dre and Dre were going to make the playoffs when we did our podcast, and I think you're right. But I think what you weren't expecting is I think you're going to be missing playoffs. If you look at it, you have the toughest schedule moving forward. I think you go against, I'm going to confirm this here. I think you go against Whitney this week. You go against Whitney this week. Shit. Week 12. Yeah, Whitney this week. You've got Nate the following week. And so you could easily be 6-7 going to the last week out of the playoff. And then week 14, you do go against, I think it's a little bit easier. All I do is Ugly Win, who his team is kind of coming around. If A-Chain can stay healthy and start producing, there's a real possibility Eric could be going, I think he's got 2 straight losses. You could lose your last 5 games and be out of playoffs. Now, this is a pretty low possibility. I think you've got a decent team that could kind of really come out and start producing. But I think your team's kind of cooled down a little bit, and you've got a few things not going your way. You do have Kyron Williams coming back, which is really good. But I could definitely see you moving down out of the playoff contention. Especially, I mean, I'm really hoping it's going to be a tough week for me this week, but I think I could beat Austin next week because he has like half of his team on bye. And then I think I go against Jeff the last week. So there's a real possibility I can go 7-7. And if you lose all 3, you're 6-8 and out of playoffs. And then all I do is Ugly Win. Dre, if you win 2 and Eric loses all 3, like I said, there's definitely a real possibility. So bold prediction number 1, Eric is missing playoffs. Now, I don't think that'll happen, but I think it's a real possibility. Guys sneezed and scared the shit out of me. Bold prediction number 2. What was my bold prediction number 2? I think this year it's the year of consistency. Like, who has stayed the most consistent throughout the whole year? And I think you have Nate, who has been the most consistent team every single week. He's got the 2 most consistent players, Christian McCaffrey and Amon-Ra St. Brown. Those 2 have combined for maybe 2 games under 10 points for the whole year. And he has Patrick Mahomes, Mr. Consistent. He has a rough receiving core, but he's still, like, he's going to almost guarantee you 20 points per game, even with his crap of a receiving core. And if anything, they're only going to get better. So I think Nate's going to win the league. Now, there's a lot of game left to play. Injuries can come into place. I know Amon-Ra, he sometimes gets injured, but he seems to kind of play through it. But I think he could definitely, if you stay consistent, and with Breece Hall, I think Breece Hall's they're gonna start focusing their offense more around him. I think that's my bold prediction. Now, like I said, there's a lot that can happen, but right now I think Nate is definitely front runner for winning the league. Bold prediction number 3, and I think this is my last bold prediction, unless I can think of something on the fly. But bold prediction number 3, I think Austin loses first round. Austin does not make bye. He does not he's not top 2 when it comes to the playoffs. I think he's going to be number 3. I think Dre's going to be number 2. I think Dre, he can beat, I think Dre has according to record, he has a pretty easy schedule. If you look at week 13, he goes against Eddie, who has a few players on bye, actually a good amount, and no quarterback still. I mean, Jordan Love, but and then week 14, let's see here. goes against Whitney. I guess maybe not the easiest schedule, but he's going against me, which I think he could definitely beat me. And then he's going against Eddie, and then he's going against Whitney. Now, Whitney has a few people on bye, but I think that's definitely a winnable for Dre. I think he just has a lot of talent and a lot of volume on his team where he could end up winning the rest of his games, go 10-4. If Austin loses any of those games, then and I think Nate's gonna go 10-4. I mean, his team's just way too consistent, and he is point leader for a reason. If you have him and Dre, number one, number two, you've got Austin, who is going to be number three, and I'm going to predict Dre is going to be the sixth seed, and I think Dre takes him out. Let's see what Dre's. I was looking at this a little bit before. Let's see here, Dre. Now, part of this is because I think. Let's see, week 15. No, 16. Oh no, shit. Sorry. Now, part of this I think is Austin. I think Mark Andrews is going to hurt you a little bit more than just. He's going to hurt Lamar Jackson, I think, for one. Because Mark Andrews is like a Travis Kelce. You take him away, and I don't think he's going to be as good. He's not going to have. He still can rush, but I think teams can focus a little bit, like those linebackers can focus a little less on the tight end and start focusing more on the quarterback and make sure he does not rush. And so I think that is going to be a downfall. ETN, I think, they're going to start looking more towards Trevor Lawrence. If they're winning by that much, or if they're destroying teams by the amount that they destroyed, I forgot who they went against, but they're going to use Trevor Lawrence a lot more, and I don't think ETN's going to be as good as he was in this first half. And then with Las Vegas's offense not producing, I think Josh Jacobs is also kind of on the decline a little bit. And on the other side, I think you've got Dre, who he's got Tank Dell, who I think could definitely be a league winner. AJ Brown, who's been the dog. He's my dog of the week. Jared Goff, who's been a really consistent quarterback. Saquon Barkley, that's the whole offense. Rachaad White, who's had almost a breakout year. And you've got A-Chain, who could be coming in and taking a lot more work away from Mostert and start producing a lot. And if that doesn't work, he can pivot over to Waddle, which although Waddle has not been as good, I think he's definitely better than what he's been producing. And so I think Dre has a real possibility knocking Austin out week one of playoffs, and Austin is the 3 seed. So that's my last bold prediction. I'm going to keep this nice and short and sweet just because I probably have to get back to work, and I'm trying not to be too loud. Yeah, I definitely think so. I guess I'll go over my playoff prediction. Who I think Nate's going to be 1, Dre's going to be 2, Austin's going to be 3, Whitney's going to be 4. I think I'm going to be 5. I hope I'm a 5. I'm going to try to win out, and I think if I can do that, I'll be 5 and Dre's 6. And then I go against Whitney in the first round, and then Dre wins against Austin. Dre goes against Nate, loses to Nate. I think Mr. Organic I'm hoping that I'm going to win against Whitney. Now, there's definitely some bias here. I don't have much to back this up with some injuries to my team, but I think if I can find a few pieces that fit right, I think I can make a push to the championship. And then let's say, but ultimately, I'm not the one on the field playing, so we'll see. So, Dre, let's see. I think your week 16 is pretty tough. It's pretty tough for your receivers. And then I don't know. I think I'm going to be realistic here. Mr. Organic versus Nate. in the championship, and Nate wins it. That's my prediction. We'll see how it goes, though. But hope you guys enjoy. I'll be back next week. Do a little bit more. Go over some more stuff. But yeah, I don't know. Let me know what you guys think about the bold predictions. Peace.